Hi everyone, welcome to CalTV. We hope midterm season hasn't got you all too stressed out.
Because we're here to fill you in on everything Berkeley. I'm Katherine Ma.
And I'm Jessica Summers. The Berkeley Beat starts now. It was a week of protests here at Cal as concerned students protested against the rise in student fees and tuition. Concerned members of the Cal community gathered last Wednesday on the 7th floor of Eshelman Hall to listen to a series of talks about the cuts. Speakers included Professor of Geography Richard Walker, reporter and author Peter Bryan, UC Berkeley alum Claire Keating, and ASUC External Affairs Vice President Ricardo Gomez.
One day after the teach-in, over 700 people, including UC Berkeley students, staff, and faculty, protested on Sproul for affordable public higher education. The protesters then gathered inside Doe Library. Pimpan Jongchair-Wangsa was at the scene. What can you tell us, Pimpan?
Since the beginning of the school year, we saw balloons floating in various classrooms and signs posted all over campus informing the UC Berkeley community of a national call for students, staff, and faculty to organize and defend public education. Labeled as a day of action, a walk-in, sit-in, and rally took place on campus. The UC Berkeley community gathered since the early morning to make their voices heard.
Whose university?
Our university!
Whose university?
Our university!
The reasons for the demonstration can be linked back to the proposed 32% tuition increase and layoffs from last school year. However, this year, voices were also heard in regards to the decreasing minority admission rate, graduate student instructor pay cuts, and 200 more job cuts planned for early next year. Throughout the day, students and faculty alike made their voices heard in regards to their frustration with the university. Graduate student instructor Aubrey Gable says the university is taking GSIs for granted.
They're taking for granted the fact that GSIs are cheap labor and continuing to do so. And it's incredibly frustrating because we love our students and we're only here for them.
And while there was a good turnout for the walkout, some were worried that there would not be as much support as there was for last fall's historic demonstration.
We were all worried that because we don't have the hot button issue of the tuition hike, that maybe people forget and they won't show up. But I think there's a considerable percentage of the students here who understand that this is a longer-term problem.
This day of action will lead to a General Assembly at 5 p.m. today to determine the next steps. Be sure to tune into Thursday's investigative report to get a more in-depth look. I'm Pimpan Jongchair-Wangsa reporting for CalTV.
Thanks, Pimpan. In other news, with Measure T on the November 2nd ballot, city voters will be deciding on whether or not to develop 6 medical marijuana facilities here in Berkeley. If the California State Proposition 19 passes, legalizing recreational use of marijuana, medical cannabis will be taxed at 2.5% and non-medical cannabis at 10%. Many argue that the annual $400,000 revenue would stimulate community development, while others say that since medical marijuana is a prescribed drug, it should not be taxed. CalTV will keep you updated with news on the November ballot.
Last Friday, 13 protesters were detained and cited for trespassing on the opening day of the new Richard Bloom Hall. Protesters, who included union workers, faculty and students, claimed that UC Regent Richard Bloom had been hypocritical about the struggles of UC students and staff, citing the contracting out of bus driver jobs and low pay and benefits for union members.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Tune in tomorrow for Mia's Cal Connect on the Berkeley Student Food Collective.
And don't forget to watch CalTV all week long.
See you next time.